We have the Cobalion coming to Pokemon Go, so we're going to give you the top counters to help you guys break down everything you need to know about Cobalion in Pokemon Go. So you know what time it is. Welcome to the Trader Club. Here we go! Alrighty guys, Cobalion making its way into Pokemon Go. If you do need more raid battles, jump in the pinned comments below, get into the Discord, or you can get into the Patreon for more premier access. It's a great shiny. Terrakion has been out. Now it's time for Cobalion in Pokemon Go. Really fun time. So for Cobalion, this Pokemon is coming out on Thursday at 10 a.m. and it's going to be with us all the way until Friday at 10 a.m., which is going to coincide with the Holiday Part 1 event. So that's definitely going to be going down. So you guys want to make sure to raid for this Pokemon if you do not have the shiny. It already has been out, I think at least this is the third time it's been out, so most of us probably do have the shiny, but if there are newer players, you guys can get that. So with this said, we have exactly 8 days for this Pokemon. This Pokemon being broken down is going to be a fighting and a steel type Pokemon. It's going to max out at 3417, and during this time frame, it will be coming with the legacy move set of Sacred Sword. So if you do want to get this move set, it is the premier move for this Pokemon. All right, not only that, this Pokemon, with it being steel and fighting, is going to be weak to only 3 things, which is going to be ground, fire, and fighting, which is pretty cool for us. But at the same time, if you're using it for a PvP Pokemon, which is probably not the most recommended, but it will have a ton of resistances. It's going to be double resistant to bug, poison, and rock, and single resistant to dark, dragon, grass, ice, normal, as well as steel. And then as far as the 100% AVs, at level 20, it's going to be 1727, and weather boosted in 2 conditions, which is going to be cloudy weather for the fighting, and snowy weather for the steel. It's going to get weather boosted all the way to level 25 at 2159. And just remember, this Pokemon does have a shiny, and with level 40 trainers, it's going to take 2.24 trainers to take down this Pokemon. So if you have level 50 Pokemon, and if you have the favorable weather conditions, and if you have Mega Boost, you may potentially be able to take down this Pokemon. However, it's going to be a very challenging fight. Do come back and let me know in the pinned comments if you have successfully made this happen, because simulators look like one thing, but at the same time, when we do put it into practice, there's always lags, missed attacks, double attacks coming from the raid boss that could mess up our predictions. And then as far as its moves go, it does get double kick, which is the new move added to all of the Swords of Justice. We do have Metal Claw, and then we do have Zen Headbutt, Psychic, Steel, as well as fighting in here. And then as far as the charge moves go, it will have Close Combat, it will have Stone Edge, and it will have Iron Head, and then the legacy move of Sacred Sword. The one moveset that I am going to point out here is Stone Edge, because we do have fire Pokemon, and those are going to be fire flying types for the most part, and those Pokemon will be double weak to rock, so you are definitely going to have to be cautious when using those Pokemon here. But besides that, most of these other movesets are going to be relatively easy for us to be able to handle. So now let's get into the top counters for Cobalion in Pokemon Go before we get into the weather conditions. If you do want to see any part of the video again or skip to a position, you can check the timestamps below, because right now we are going to start off with Shadows and Megas, mostly non-budget counters. The number 1 Pokemon is going to be Blaziken in the Mega form with Counter and Blast Burn. The great thing about this Pokemon, it's going to be able to use its strongest moveset combination of Counter and Blast Burn, making it the number 1 Pokemon here. And it's also not going to be a fire and a fighting type Pokemon, which means it won't have that double weakness to rock. This one's going to have 20 deaths with 562 seconds, and then about 20 seconds slower is going to be the Mega Charizard Y on this Pokemon with Fire Spin and Blast Burn. And then in spot number 4, we have Shadow Entei with Fire Fang and Overheat. Spot number 5, we have Counter and Dynamic Punch on Shadow Machamp, which is a budget counter. Mega Alakazam in spot number 6, that is going to need the Combat move of Counter, but combined with Focus Blast, it will be able to do a decent amount on this Pokemon. However, it is not the most recommended moveset. And then we have Shadow Ho-Oh in spot number 7 with Incinerate, as well as Sacred Fire Plus. And then next, we do have the Shadow Moltres with Fire Spin and Overheat. And if you want a little bit more budget counters for Shadows, in spot number 11, we are going to have Shadow Hariyama, and then in 12, an all ground type Mamoswine, which then is going to lead us into which Mega would I recommend. Obviously, we do have a great Mega right here as far as the Mega Blaziken. That is going to be the number 1 recommended Pokemon, because not only will you be able to catch this Pokemon with boosted XL Candy if you have it at Mega level 3, you will also be able to do the most effective damage to it, because it is a fire and a fighting type combination, and that is where these Hoenn Megas are going to shine the most. Externally of them being extremely strong, they're also going to be very good for dual purpose XL Candy, and in this case, it works out extremely well. The other Pokemon, if you don't have a Mega Blaziken to level 3, which is virtually impossible as of right now, you can use the Mega Steelix, because that will will boost all of the ground type counters, number 1. Number 2, it will boost the steel type XL candy coming from this Cobalion in Pokemon Go. So now let's move into non-shadows, megas included, and more budget counters as well. So the cool thing about number 1 and number 2 is that they are budget counters for the megas. Super effective there, with obviously the same ones of the Blaziken and the Charizard. In spot number 3, we actually have Terrakion with Double Kick and Sacred Sword. Remember, if you guys did not see the best of the best, check it out up here because that Pokemon got such a buff with its fighting moveset of Double Kick. It is one of the top fighting types in the game. And then we have Mega Alakazam in spot number 4. In spot number 5, we have Mega Charizard X, which then leads us into the spot number 6, which will get boosted from the Blaziken Mega or the Charizard Y, which is going to be Reshiram with Fire Fang and Overheat. In spot number 7, we have Counter and Dynamic Punch on Conkeldurr. In spot number 8, we have Mega Houndoom, but I am going to skip over that specific Pokemon because we are already into other megas that are more effective. Then we have Counter and Aura Sphere on the Lucario. Still not really into the budget counters, but now we have another budget counter, which is going to be the Fire Darmanitan with Fire Fang and Overheat, and an even better budget counter in the next spot with Chandelure with Fire Spin and Overheat because we did have the Litwick Comday, so we should have more than enough XL candy and regular candy to be able to power up this Pokemon, including Luckies as well. And then if you did purify your Ho-Oh, which I do not recommend, Incinerate and Sacred Fire plus in spot number 12, and this is not including the Shadow, so it is definitely way further down than is the Shadow form. And then we have Mega Swampert with Mud Shot and Earthquake here. Not the best, we have better ones. Then we have Counter and Blast Burn on the regular Blaziken, which is a budget counter. Then in 15, we have Entei with Fire Fang and Overheat, followed by 16, which is going to be Machamp with Counter and Dynamic Punch. Great budget counter here. And then we have Landorus, Mega Lopunny, and then Excadrill, which is a budget counter with Mud Slap and Drill Run. And then if you do want to check out a little bit less effective counters, you can check them out over here as we do finish this section up. So what are we looking right now as far as the weather conditions for the Cobalion in Pokemon Go? In the sunny weather, it's going to be amazing because it's going to boost all of our ground and our fire type counters. So it's going to take this Pokemon down extremely fast and efficient. In partly cloudy weather, it will be able to get a boost for the Cobalion to Stone Edge, which makes this Pokemon extremely effective against our flying and fire type Pokemon, which we did cover a couple of them in there. So if it does have Stone Edge, especially in partly cloudy, but even if not, that is a one-hit KO for all of those fire flyings. But also in the cloudy weather, we are going to get a boost to our fighting type counters, which is going to make it more efficient to go after this Pokemon, which leads us into the rainy weather, which is going to have no effect. But in the snowy weather, Cobalion will get boosted to level 25. Its steel type moves will also get boosted, which is not really that big of a deal. In the foggy weather, we're going to have no effect, but in the windy weather, we will get a boost to the Zen Headbutt of this Pokemon, which is also not really that big of a deal. But Cobalion, Shiny's out, 8 days to be able to get it. Good luck everybody out there. To all my likers, comments, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to have stuff to see you guys out in the next video. Peace.
I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and rating all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.